Welcome guys to Cwsmmc on special guest segment for this week. I'm Bobby.
I'm Lois.
Welcome. Today's guest will be an independent manager, or former independent wrestling manager, known as Jacko Hartz. We've got him via phone.
Yeah.
So we're going to kick it off. Welcome, Jacko Hartz. First question that we're going to ask you is, what is your most embarrassing moment in independent wrestling?
My most embarrassing moment in independent wrestling was the time that I had a fan who basically wanted to see what I really looked like without nothing on. I mean, that was my embarrassing moment. When trying to do it during an actual live event. So that's my embarrassing moment.
What managers inspired you to manage?
Well, there's a lot of managers who inspire me. For starters, I can honestly say my top biggest two managers were Jim Cornette, of course, and none other than the late, and he ain't the great, but he's still the great, but he's not late. The one and only Bobby the Brain Heenan and James D. Cornette, and people like, them two were the biggest influence on me, other than Kenny the King Borland Star Maker. He was one of them. And any other managers who I haven't mentioned names of, like Chris Nana, he's a manager out of New York, and he's also a pro wrestler. He inspired me, and basically, mostly we're all wrestlers who inspired me. People like Jerry Lawler, Jimmy Hart, the late great Macho Man Randy Savage, Jimmy Hart, Mouth and South manager, and a few others who inspired me to be who I am today.
Well, that's very good, interesting information there, Jacko Hartz.
Yeah.
The next question is going to be, what is the difference in Georgetown, Kentucky independent wrestling circuit and New York independent wrestling circuit?
Well, down here in the Lexington, Georgetown, Kentucky area, University of Chicago, there are fans out there who take wrestling serious, especially if you're beating up on their hometown favorite. Now, as for New Yorkers, well, they're a lot different. Yes, they take wrestling, but they don't take it. They take it serious. They're not serious enough to try to jump over the guardrail and try to literally hurt you because you beat up on one of their hometown heroes. Now, down here in Kentucky, this is anywhere you ever go. And boys, I'm glad you brought up this subject. I'll give you a quick story. I did a show, Amy comes on a vacation. Some of you people out there don't know where it's at. It's in between Hazard and Jackson, Kentucky. There was a battle roll where I had a wrestler who was supposed to win it all. He turned over the top ropes to protect me because some fan in the front row pulled out Mega Mace and was trying to previously blind me for real. All because we beat up her hometown favorite. But you see, it's like this. You wrestle just crew, you get the full on the horse, baby. You get all of me in the crew. And we take the game most likely to be serious. We're out to win. We're not out to be stars. We're out to show the world that we are stars. We get out there, hey, your hometown hero has to welcome fight. Big deal. You get this butt handed to it, so be it. But they do take it seriously. Now in New York, it's a different story. Fans up there, they roll up Jacko Hartz. There are fans who hate me, but get later on down the line, they grew to love me. The difference between New York and Kentucky wrestling is simple. Kentucky, they take it serious. There's certain parts you go. There's certain levels you go and whereabouts. In New York, they take it, but not all that serious enough to go after a manager or a wrestler trying to hurt them for real, just because their hometown favorite gets their crazy salary. What do you think? I mean, it's wrestling.
Alright.
That's how I look at it, gentlemen.
Next question for you. Who is the best you've managed?
Who is the best I've managed?
Yeah.
Interesting question. I have a lot of favorites I've actually got to work with. Well, let's see. For starters, I got to work with one of my all-time favorite managers, and he would probably be pissed off if I didn't mention his name right about now.
Okay.
I'm quite sticking to it.
All right, Jacko Hearts. We've got another question for you. For the ones who doesn't know this, how did the name Jacko Hearts come around to you? What gave you the idea to become Jacko Hearts?
Interesting, interesting. Aaron, I love your question, boy. Love your question, guys. Well, here's the thing. I started out pro wrestling. I'm going to tell this little story. I started out pro wrestling with an ideal of a manager called Keith Royal, if you will. You know, I hate talking about this gimmick. I'm glad it's very, it's dead, it's gone. Keith Royal was basically a manager who wore hot pink, and he basically was team manager to managing a wrestler to a man called Sweet Cheek, Sweet Pussycat. Them two was supposed to have a love affair, if you will. But then later on, a company out of Frankfurt called UWF, I let down when it was run and owned by John Hofer because there was some, let's just say, under dirty-handed minor things that were going on within the company. When I left, Kimberly was dead and gone. I got rid of him. I buried him, if you will. Jacko Hart came around when a buddy of mine said to me, hey, you're going back into wrestling. You need a new persona, if you will. Well, the name Jacko Hart comes to play. Before I went to New York, I seen Jacko because I got tired of people making fun of the name, if you will. I mean, even my closest friends, and a few family members like to joke around about it, but still, the name Jacko is what it is today. It's dead for it, I live for it, and that's how the name Jacko Hart come around. I got rid of these letter F, if you will. People would make fun of me and say, well, hey, there comes Jacko. And I'm like, excuse you? How long the hell have you been in mine? Let me show because you got fired. You just want to disrespect me of all people here? And maybe you should not come to any of the shows. You can't show any respect to me outside of our great entertainment, if you will, boys. That's why I kicked the letter F out of Jacko Hart. That's why it's Jacko Hart. When people sit there and say, hey, there's Jacko Hart, I look at them and go, that's right. That's right. But you can't make fun of me. You can't make fun of the name. When you say Jacko, I'm like, how you doing? But you know, it is what it is, gentlemen. That's how the name Jacko Hart came around. To this very day, I am a household name in Long Island, New York, with the fans of Centereach. I'm with the fans of BCW. The Big Big Pro Wrestling fans know who Jacko Hart is. You say that man's name, you can shake a few fans and say, hey, who's Jacko Hart? He'll tell you I am one of the great managers that ever lived in BCW history.
Okay. Okay, we got about a couple more minutes left here. We're going to jump into a debate here. Lewis is going to read that debate off to you, and then we'll all three debate on it.
Okay.
Okay.
What is the best brand of wrestling? We have choices as WCW, ECW, WWF/WWE. I'm going to go ECW.
Well, nice debate, nice debate. I want to say ECW back in the day was the greatest extreme wrestling of all time. But gentlemen, I'm going to have to take a different on ECW. Don't get me wrong, I loved ECW back in the day because they were really extreme. I'm going to have to say WCW because I liked it before WCW came what it is today. It was AWA. And I liked it when it switched over to WCW because it had the great cars like Sting, Long Heat.
That's a very good point.
Alright, Bobby.
All right. Well, I'm going to have to jump right into this conversation, not to mean to cut short, Jacko Hearts. I'm going to have to agree with Lewis on that ECW, just because, I mean, if you wanted hardcore, that was true hardcore.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the blood was real, the barbed wire was real, and I love the extreme wrestling.
Well, my reason behind it, I mean, if you compare, like, when you take Cactus Jack and Terry Funk, and you put them in a WWF ring, it's a great match. Don't get me wrong, one of the greatest matches you'll see. You put them in an ECW ring, and it's just unstoppable. It's just heart-stopping. It's just unbelievable.
Yeah, just because you don't have those stipulations to put on it like the WWE has.
Yeah.
Extreme wrestling is
True.
in the wrestling, I have to say New Jack. New Jack is one of the craziest guys that's ever lived in wrestling today. But I also have to say, Sabu.
Oh yeah, Sabu.
Yes, I
Over,
agree.
gentlemen.
I'll agree with that.
Yeah.
Trying to take yourself out of wrestling. Hurt yourself through wrestling.
Yeah, I'll agree. I'll agree.
The other point I had too was just because, alright, you take like WCW, they had a great push because they was owned by Ted Turner, who owns TBS. Alright, look what Vince McMahon's dad did with WWF. I mean, he built this from the ground, then he handed it to Vince after he passed away. Alright, Vince had that work for him. Paul Heyman built ECW from independent and made it what it is today.
Oh yes, and then that's a very good strong point there, and a very good
Because
point.
ECW came from a backyard to arenas to everything that it is now.
That's right. Gentlemen, I have to agree. You're right. Well, I haven't seen ECW what it is today. He made what it was. Like you said, he took an independently owned company. He started up in his own backyard. Look what it is today. It's grown to be one of the biggest deals ever. It's one of the biggest hardcore extreme wrestlers around you can ever imagine. And you're right. Look at all these people who come out of ECW. All these great. But take a look. Now, I'm going to say this. When Vince McMahon out of ECW, I heard there was a rumor that he said, Paul Heyman, if I'm not ECW, help you out. I would say you should be in WWE with me. And that was the ruling. That was the ruling. Supposedly, that was supposed to be a girl rumor. But, you know, I know a guy today, he should have been up there, my honest opinion. Maybe he could come back when WWE did the ECW One Night Stand. That was none other than my close friend, Thomas Roadkill. Thomas Roadkill was a great wrestler. He should have been in that spotlight of WWE, in my own opinion.
Well, what I think is unfair too, just because they're not as athletic, when guys from ECW back in the day, there was a lot of guys who wasn't took serious, like, well, except for like for the Dudley Boys or like Rob Van Dam and stuff like that, and Rhino. But guys like Sabu and stuff would get in the ring with, like let's say if Sabu was the versus John Cena would annihilate him. If John Cena back in the 90s would have gotten in the ring with Sabu and the real deal ECW, who would have got the absolute shit kicked out of him.
Oh yeah, and I will agree with that.
They were just so underrated when they come under the radar. And then guys like Jerry Lynn and stuff, they didn't even get signed a WWE contract.
Oh yeah.
And Shane Douglas.
Well, I mean,
Well, that's another point I wanted to bring in. Vince McMahon hardly has any respect for the guys that did this for him. Like, alright, you take Jimmy Valiant, handsome Jimmy Valiant.
one of the greatest.
Alright, WWE Hall of Famer. A few weeks ago, I seen him in Georgetown at an independent promotion. Why? That's what I want to know.
Well, because his antique for one.
Well, I mean, you know, Vince could at least sign him to a Legends contract.
Yes, and there is a lot of them that Vince should have actually brought in to the WWE brand and let them sign, because I mean, it goes back to the ECW.
I mean, for God's sakes,
you know,
he could make good money if just making a Royal Rumble appearance and get thrown right back out.
Oh yeah, and then that would actually boost the ratings, because I think WWE today, the storylines that they have, all of that is just too far fetched. You know,
that's why
I just don't agree with
that's
a lot
why
of
I have a lot of respect for CM Punk. He's genuine.
Yeah.
He doesn't go out there and try to be somebody he's not.
Yeah, and let me throw this under the bus here. I never followed CM Punk at all, Jocko Hart's here. Unless, it was for this man Lewis here, and he actually got me started on CM Punk. And you are right, there's a lot more respect than what he's got.
Yeah.
He,
I'm going to tell you something. I want to throw something under the bus. Throw myself underneath this bus for a change. I want to tell you something. Okay, guys? Look at me. We had a ECW win. BPW, an ECW legend, if you will. Simon Dean. He gets signed to a contract. They call him the guru of this man. So here's a man who comes to our seminar that we hosted. 22 people came from all over. Simon Dean said, most of you guys in this room have been offered WWE contracts. Look, I can take 2 people right here today, to the big. He said, all I gotta have my selection made. I'm 2 selections worth. You gotta go on. There's a wrestler called Jason Snap. Why? Okay? Obviously, we cut 1-minute promos. Jacko Hart cut one of the goodest promos we ever cut. Simon Dean was impressed. He loved it. Did the man want to sign me to a contract? Yes, he did. Because with regard, you're doing a seminar, you cannot sign nobody. I don't care how good they are. Well, let's just say this much. I do know for a fact that he could have signed me. He told Beyonce was at the time and told her and said that I would be the new baby in town that Vince McMahon and company would love. Because why? I cut good promos? Yeah. Okay? Just what? Yeah, I cut good promos. Who cares? That's not the point. The point is, guys like myself, we need to get the respect. The real guys who need to be brutally respected, if you will, people like Jerry Lynn. People like him and none of the regular guys, they should be the ones being more respected. Me? Yeah, I'm sitting there. I need my respect too. Do I get it? Sometimes I do get it by fans. Sometimes I get it by wrestling. But above all, it goes like this. Guys who were under that ECW radar, those are the real legends, the real respected people that need to be well respected. Everything they've done, guys like myself did. We took butt kickings, we took beatings for what? To make a name for ourselves, to build up where we are today. And look at these guys. Some of them got carved out to a one-night stand thanks to WWE. Paul Heyman called us on the best crew of crews and said, come do a thing with me. One-night stand, ECW, come show your talent. And he did. When the show was over, where were the guys at? Were they signed? No. They were thrown under the bus again.
Well,
Under the radar.
speaking of right fast, Paul Heyman and CM Punk, this whole promo thing, I don't think Paul Heyman should be CM Punk's manager just because CM Punk does better promos and stuff just by himself than what Paul Heyman's out there speaking with.
Yeah.
CM Punk doesn't need a manager.
No, we don't.
He has his own promos and everything in one. He does some of the best promo work today.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, and I'll agree with that.
Okay. Well, that's about all the time we have for this segment. We'd like to thank Jacko Hart for stopping by.
Yeah, well, just real quickly, is there anything else that you would like to say before we end this segment here, Mr. Jacko Hart?
It's an honor to be on your show. I hope the fans out there really take to heart what we discussed about on today's segment. I'm the man. I'm the real deal manager. I keep it real. People tell me, well, I've been in this 10 years. I'm a legend. Okay, let's just keep one thing straight. I may be an indie legend, but you know what? I don't feel like it. I really don't. Guys who are real legends in my opinion, people like CM Punk, Triple H, the late great Eddie Guerrero. He's a man of legend.
All right,
He's a man.
that's something else I want to do.
I always tell you, gentlemen, when I close out my segment, that sooner it takes time than a fake. Think on it. You got it out of here. Thank you for having me on the show. It's an honor, and I hope to be invited back.
All right.
In the near future.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Well, that's it, you guys. You heard it. That does it for this segment on Cwsmmc on special guest Jacko Hartz. Again, he was independent circuit wrestling manager. You've just pretty much heard a lot of what his input was on the debate. I'll give him my hat off to that. He
Yeah.
done a great debate. He agreed. and we were actually on the same page on a lot of it. So
Yeah.
you know, and it was, you know, again, this was our first time having a special guest.
Hope
And
to have more.
yeah, we're actually going to work on getting another guy coming in.
As if we don't get views and get canceled.
Yeah, yeah, don't cancel us, people, please. No, I'm just fucking with you. I don't give a damn if we get canceled or not.
No.
All right, with you,
Thanks,
but,
guys.
thanks, and if you like us, you like us. If you hate us,
Oh well.
I don't really give a damn. Oh well.
Fuck you, Stormzy.